link between mental health and financial well-being with various people now. I've got Claud Williams with me. Claude is an award-winning entrepreneur, board member, and executive coach. He also serves on the board of Camden and Islington NHS Trust, which specializes in mental health. He is passionate about preventative measures for better mental health, which is one of the largest driving forces between him creating his company, Dream Nation. Claude is open about his own mental health experiences through building a business and also navigating the world of education and work. In 2020, he was appointed an ambassador for the British Dyslexia Association. Thank you for joining us, Claude, even if it is on Zoom, to discuss the topic that hits home for most of us. I've spoken to a couple of giffgaff employees already, but I wanted to get like an outside perspective and from someone who is heavily involved within mental health and improving it amongst us. How are you doing?
No, it's a pleasure. No, it's really an honor to be here with you guys today.
Thank you. Thank you. So tell us why you became a mental health first aider.
Okay, so as you know, I am an executive coach, and when I'm working with a lot of my coaching clients, one of the most consistent themes that does come up are issues around their mental health. Although, yeah, we might be talking about the businesses that they run or the teams that they manage or things of that nature. Ultimately, we find people find themselves under a lot of stress, and we was finding that, yeah, like it was just a topic that just kept coming up. Wanted to be as equipped as possible to be able to support people during those time periods, essentially, and that's what led me to it. I guess on top of that, I do have a really deep passion for psychology, and with mental health being a significant part of that too. And with my passion being behind helping people reach their full potential, you can't do that if you don't have good mental health as well.
That is very true. That's very true. And there's been an increased focus within mental health recently, especially after the events of 2020. What do you believe is the main cause of anxiety at the moment?
Oh, that's a really big question. So obviously we're still living through a global pandemic right now. So COVID-19 is of course causing a lot of anxiety for a lot of people. And it doesn't help that people are both scared for their own health and the health of their loved ones. And in many cases, some people have lost people that are really close to them. In addition to that, being locked down, not being able to get out and socialize the way that we normally would in our lives, fundamentally being disrupted, change is quite a difficult thing for most people, actually. So that on top of that as well is like really causing a lot of anxiety. But then, yeah, if you just kind of look at just all the things that happened in 2020, so we had the pandemic, we had everything to do with Black Lives Matter. But if I'm being honest with you, I don't think it's necessarily just about what happened last year. I just think there's now a higher awareness of the anxiety that's in our society. I feel like this anxiety's been there for a long time, but previously I don't think we had almost a language to talk about it in the right way. Then when you throw on top of all of that stuff, that's the normal societal pressures that have just come in with like the world as it is now. So for those of us that live in London, for example, things are just getting crazy expensive. Like if you wanted to buy a house, good luck with that at the moment. And then add in stuff like social media, which is just constantly feeding us these ideas and images, and many of which are not actually great for our mental health. So when you combine all these things together, like it's no surprise that anxiety is becoming such a big issue in the world right now.
Yep. Yep, I completely agree. But and also a point you just mentioned is that everything's coming to light and it's been highlighted, and we kind of have to address it now because of what happened last year. And it's the work that you're doing and all the other mental health first aiders are doing is to actually be the solution and help with the problem. But yeah, we can't tackle all of those issues that you just mentioned.
Definitely not.
However, in terms of financial well-being, do you believe that there is a link? I know you just mentioned kind of house prices and the cost of living keeps going up, but is there a specific link, do you believe, between financial well-being and mental health?
And without a doubt at all. Yeah, money is one of the biggest drivers of the stresses that a lot of people face in their lives today. whether that's having too little of it, to be able to live at I guess, a healthy and reasonable standard in this country, or whether it's like not being able to fulfill like aspirational things, as we mentioned before. Like, a lot of people want to be able to own a home, and they want to be able to do it in an area which they might have spent their entire lives. But for many people now, that's due to, I guess, how house prices are increasing versus the not same level of increase in, say, our wages. It's now making equations like that quite impossible. Or like not being able to feeling like you can take time off and go on a break, or be potentially having to be in a job or a role that you don't like because you feel beholden to the money, or in many cases debt. Like, there's so many studies out there that demonstrate how people that have negative debt, how they're, I think it's 57% more likely to be also suffering from something to do with mental health as well. So there's no doubt about it, all mental health and finances are very heavily linked.
Yeah. And I think it's maybe even a cycle where you start off, maybe you've got a bit of financial issues, which leads to mental health issues, which leads to having more financial issues because perhaps you can't get to your job and do your job, or you can't do certain things. So then it escalates, which is unfortunate. So from your perspective, is there any advice or that you can give to people that might be caught in this cycle?
Oh, yeah, no, this obviously is not the I can't really go into the whole scope of that right now, but just a few bits and pieces of advice from that is, first and foremost, talk to somebody. Like, us, like humans, were built to be social creatures. So having this the opportunity to just have a conversation with somebody that you can trust, tell them about what you're feeling, being able to share that and be able to get that empathy and I guess comfort from another person, like that will go a very long way in helping you feel better. Personally, I feel like the more people that you can talk to in a safe manner is going to be the better for you.
Mhm.
If you can afford to, I am a huge advocate that everybody should be in therapy, or at least do some therapy in their lives.
Yeah.
We all go through so much trauma. Like, yeah, just no matter how great you think your childhood was, then tends to be some sort of trauma that you faced and you're still dealing with today. So being able to talk to a professional about that can be really powerful. And I would also highly recommend trying out something like meditation as well. Give it a try for a month or so. I've seen the impact it's had on a number of my clients, where it's helped them to like slow down, and gain a little bit more control over their thoughts as a whole. And with that comes a lot more clarity and a lot more peace. And I guess the last thing that I would say, kind of touching on my point before about social media, is just be conscious of what you're consuming. We all know the expression that we are what we eat, but I personally think that expression goes far beyond just the food. What we're listening to, what we're watching, what we're taking into our mind, ultimately will have a huge impact on our thought processes, and consequently, like impact on our mental health from that perspective too.
Completely. Yeah, I agree. Like talking to people, it helps. And staying away from social media. I'm on a social media cleanse right now. I need to start there tonight. And you touched on like finding people that you talk to. This is something that I'm going to mention later on about creating a tribe and finding the right people around you that can help you with certain aspects of your life. And you can have someone that's good at finances that you can talk to about fixing anything if there's an issue, or if there's a goal that you're working towards. That's
100%.
good advice. Thank you. So, how can people find you going forward for maybe a consultation or just to chat?
Okay, so the best way to get in contact with me would either be through the Dream Nation website. So that is dreamnation.co. So that's dreamnation.co. If you go to the contact form there, send over email or come to my team, and then we can arrange a time to talk. Or if you wanted to take the relationship a little bit deeper and go into something like coaching, then we do have packages available for people too, and we can discuss what that might look like in your case. But also feel free just to reach out to me on social media. I'm really easy to find, so you can get me on Instagram or on Twitter, or LinkedIn. And if my name is Claud Williams. There's no E in Claude, so it's just Claude, Claud Williams. And yeah, search me on Instagram, search me on Twitter, LinkedIn, or whatever social platform you like, apart from Facebook, and you should be able to find me.
Fair enough. I will add the details in the post so people can find you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. I'm looking forward to being able to work with you guys all pretty soon.